How's it going, everyone? You're watching Everything Weapons. Today we're going to be discussing how the Navy finally is seeking to dispose of the USS Long Beach, as it was America's and actually the world's first nuclear-powered cruiser. So tearing apart a nuclear-powered warship is a whole lot more costly and time-consuming than a conventionally powered one. So I'm reading from the War Zone, so all credit to their website, but more than 3 decades after decommissioning the USS Long Beach, the Navy of America is finally preparing to dispose of what's left of the world's first nuclear-powered surface combatant, and the cruiser, which already had its distinctive boxy superstructure as well as its bow and stern sections removed, has been moored at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility since being decommissioned way back in 1995. Now, after a long process to determine what to do with the USS Long Beach, the U.S. Navy on Wednesday put out a call for companies willing and able to perform the extremely complex and lengthy operation to transport, dismantle, demilitarize, and dispose of what was once a 721-foot long ship that displaced 15,540 tons, including its 2 defueled reactor plants. Long Beach was launched in 1959 and commissioned 2 years later. So this marks just the second time the U.S. Navy has opted to select a commercial yard to dismantle a nuclear-powered warship. The first, actually, was the ex-USS Enterprise, the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier from the same era as the Long Beach. It is vastly more complex and expensive to dispose of nuclear-powered vessels than normal, conventionally powered ones because of all of the radiological concerns of radioactivity, obviously, even long after the reactors have been defueled. So the decision to go forward with the Long Beach dismantling process came after a Navy vessel historical evaluation way back in April of this year, 2026, determined that the ship was ineligible for listing in the National Register of Historical Places, despite its history as the world's first surface combatant ever to have nuclear propulsion and combat service that ranged from the Vietnam War all the way to Operation Desert Storm. So the ship was deactivated in 1994 and towed to Newport News Shipbuilding, where the entire superstructure was removed and the reactors were defueled, according to the NVHE. After this work was completed in the winter of 95, the hull was towed through the Panama Canal to Puget Sound, where it has been waiting to be recycled. In 2012, the ship was sold for scrap. Long Beach had 10,000 tons of steel, 300 miles of electric cable, and 450 tons of aluminum, earning it the voice radio call sign ALCO, or Alcoa, after aluminum maker of the same name, Reuters reported at the time. More than a dozen scrap dealers have expressed interest in taking part in sealed online bidding for the whole, with more than 7.35 million pounds, which is 3.33 million kg, of steel, aluminum, and copper wiring, galley equipment, tables, chairs, lockers, and bunks. Government liquidation president Tom Burton told the news outlet, "It's a 2-year process, but it could take 18 to 26 months, Burton said. What's left is an inert hull." It remains unclear what happened to that scrap sale. The War Zone reached out to the Navy for answers, and the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard subsequently completed a limited scope hull preservation availability in 2015 that resulted in the removal of the bow and stern according to the NVHE records. It was ultimately decided not to save the ship by placing it on the NRHP because major alterations have been made in design that do not maintain the historic design of the vessel, so loss of the superstructure and major hull elements the review found, so character-defining features of USN warship have been lost, such as the main armament, superstructure, bow, and stern, does not evoke the aesthetic of a 20th century USN warship. Moreover, a 60-day period for stakeholders to comment expired earlier this month of June 2026 with no responses. With all the hurdles to ultimate destruction now out the way, the Navy will host an Industry Day meeting on June 24th and 25th in Washington, D.C. for companies interested in learning more about what is involved in the final dismantling of the USS Long Beach. So whoever gets the job will first have to transport it from Puget Sound to the ship-breaking yard by dry transport via semi-submersible barge, deck barge, or semi-submersible heavy-lift vessel, because the ship's current structural condition precludes an open ocean tow, according to the RFI. So dismantling and disposing of ex-Long Beach is necessary in order to comply with Navy policy for inactive nuclear-powered ships stricken from the Navy Vessel Register and Navy Nuclear Propulsion Program statutory responsibilities, the RFI explains. The requirement for disposal includes dismantling, demilitarizing, and recycling the remnant hull sections at an authorized commercial facility in accordance with applicable federal, state, and local laws, and removing and packaging the reactor plant components for transportation and disposal as low-level radioactive waste at an authorized radioactive waste facility or multiple facilities. So there's no timelines or cost estimates associated with the RFI, nor is there any guarantee that a request for proposal will be issued. And so in 2019, the Government Accountability Office found that it could cost the Navy more than $1.5 billion to fully dispose of the Enterprise. And the GAO report also stated that a complete process could take more than 15 years to finish, which is just ridiculous to think about. It's like, why does it have to take that long? But the Navy officially decommissioned the Enterprise, also known as its whole number CVN-65, in February of 2017, after more than 5 decades of service, and the ship had already effectively been in mothballs since 2012, and Newport News Shipping Building completed a lengthy inactivation process, which included removing the nuclear fuel, mission systems, and other items from the ship in 2018. So, yeah, this is a huge project for the Navy. And the Navy originally projected that it would cost somewhere between $500 and $750 million to scrap the Enterprise, but by 2013, this figure had grown to over $1 billion. The difficulties involved forced the service to push back the start of the process more than once. So this is just insane. It's a huge challenge for the United States to get rid of massive nuclear-powered ships, right? And I guess we'll just have to see how long and how much money the Long Beach will take America to dismantle and fully throw out this decommissioned world's first nuclear-powered cruiser, right? And just crazy. If you learned something or enjoyed watching, please consider dropping a thumbs up. A like really helps me out, guys. Type a comment down below of how much money you think the USS Long Beach, Long Beach, will take to dismantle, and how many years you think. I mean, hopefully it's faster. We would hope it's faster than the process of dismantling the Enterprise previously, right? So yeah, type a comment below. What else? Oh yeah, ring the bell. That way you don't miss any video that I post coming up in the future, and take a look at the older content on the channel, guys. Once again, you've been watching Everything Weapons. Thank you so much for taking your time to tune in, and until next time, I will see you in the next video.